Hey squad, Sapling6 here. Welcome to another video on my Tactical Tuesday series. In today's video, we're going to focus on another aspect of Warzone that us casual gamers have control over. Today, we're going to theory craft what an ideal squad's loadout should look like at the first $10,000 you accumulate for your first loadout, and then the second loadout that drops around the 12-second mark for free at the end of the first circle. I would love to hear your variations on this and any improvements you guys make, or tell me what you and your squad enjoy doing in the comments below. If you like this type of material and want to see some more in the future, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Let's get right into it. So we're going to head over here to the loadout section. And right here I got it broken down from player 1, 2, 3, and 4, in which I'm calling player 1 and player 2 the short and mid-range players. Now what these guys need to be able to do is work really well together, because they're primarily going to be the ones that take the short engagements and the mid engagements and get into the buildings first. So let's break it down. Player 1, he's going to run the most common AR, or in this case the Bruin is very popular right now, but you're going to run the most popular AR and the one that's most comfortable for you as your primary weapon. Your secondary weapon should be your favorite close combat weapon, most likely an SMG in the MP7 or the MP5. That's meta right now. You're going to want to deck both of these weapons out that make them feel most comfortable to you. Next, looking at the perks, I recommend going EOD. If you're going to be the first one in the building, you're probably going to run into some claymores, you might get some proximity mines, or you might be in a C4 trade battle before you head into the door, and EOD is really going to allow you to get in there and clean up. Overkill obviously is going to allow you to have those two main primary weapons, so that's a must. And the amp, also pretty common and self-explanatory in that you want those faster reload speeds if you end up picking up a launcher, and you definitely want the faster weapon swap when needed. For your lethal, I highly recommend the C4. Everybody's running it right now. It's that vehicle buster for you in the case that you need it, and it also can get up there in those windows and start working on the enemy's armor. And then next, for your tactical, I highly recommend the stun grenade. It's my favorite when going in the house knowing there's somebody in there. If I need to head upstairs, I can get a tactical stun up the deck, hopefully bank it off the correct wall, and then get that hit marker on the enemy and exploit the stun. For this player 2, who's going to be your battle buddy, it's the exact same setup. You're going to run an AR SMG combo, or in this case, the Bruin again is still really good. So you can run that LMG, Bruin MK9, and then your perks are going to be exactly the same. EOD, Overkill, and Amped, with the C4 and Stun Grenade as your lethal and tactical options. And together, players 1 and 2, again, will be working real well together and communicating and making sure they're the first two in the building, knowing there's a deliberate enemy in there that they need to take care of. For player 3, all right, this is going to be what I call the utility. This player can pretty much flex to anything you guys need. And mostly what we've been doing lately is running the RPG-7 on my buddy, who's the utility player. And what that allows us to do in the very first drop is gives us the opportunity to take care of some of those buildings in which we don't have, we might not have C4 readily available, or maybe the enemy vehicle's too far away and we're going to need to be able to reach out and touch it and get that early squad wipe. So I highly recommend pulling the RPG-7 on your buddy who loves running around with it anyway. So you might as well have him use it. You can swap this primary weapon for either the AR or SMG, whatever they're most comfortable with, but I recommend running the AR first, and I'll tell you why here in a second when we get to the fourth player and the second set of loadouts. For your perks, running the EOD is still good in the event that you need to get up there, or want to minimize the risk of getting hit, but a second option is cold-blooded if you're going to be playing a little bit further back, especially after your second loadout. But this is going to be a recommendation for the second loadout for this guy. Now, hardline. This is something that I haven't seen run much, and we haven't run much myself, but I'm just theory crafting here for a second. After that first 10,000 is used, the next amount of kill streaks that you guys will be buying, armor plate boxes, and everything you could pull to this guy and get a discount on that until you get your second loadout and eventually switch this out for Ghost. So it doesn't need overkill, and you don't necessarily need Ghost if your other 3 players aren't running it. So why not try out Hardline, see if you can get some discounts and for those kill streaks. And then Amped is a must. If you're going to be running the RPG, you're going to need that faster reload and swap speed. And then going over to our lethal again, C4 being the meta here. And then here's where you can switch it up. I've only got 1 heartbeat sensor right now on the team, and I think it should go to the utility guy if at all. Right now I think the heartbeat sensor is not a necessity in the quads. I think there's a lot of enemies are running around, and you get a pretty good idea by grabbing bounties and just seeing 4 people running around out there. You don't really need one. So you could switch this out for a smoke, a stun, or a flash. I recommend the smoke though for the utility guy in the event that you need to get a revive off or get across a long danger area in which you're going to need some cover and concealment. Next, going to player 4, he's your long gunner and he's your sniper. Again, you can swap the primary weapon out for either the assault rifle or an SMG. I actually recommend the SMG here. Now I know I got the AR on screen. Most people will probably run an AR, but if you need to be the guy that gets into a building because one of your other guys goes down, I think I would rather have personally an SMG to be able to close with and do that. I think the better option here to be able to cover the mid-range would be the MP7. So I'll come here and I'll grab my MP7 custom build here for longer ranges, and that'll have the monolithic suppressor, the FSS recon, now the Merc foregrip you can change out for the tac laser for the aim down sight speed if needed, and that's perfectly okay. Your 60 round mag and the sleight of hand perk can also be changed up for a stock additional, or you can keep the tac laser, get rid of this, and then pick your favorite underbarrel. But I think the MP7 is better suited for those longer range fights that the AR would normally do, but because you're running the sniper and you want to be able to cover the inside fight, the MP7 is the way to go. Now, running your favorite sniper as your secondary is definitely the way to go here for player 4. That way you can reach out and have somebody on the team that can reach out and touch somebody, break some armor plates in those windows before your player 1 and 2 your assault team gets up there. You and the player 3 here should be working hand in hand, working the back lines and getting some suppression down and some RPGs in windows and some shots in the windows to allow your player 1 and 2 to get up in there. For your perks, again, EOD is kind of main right now. I think it's good in a lot of situations, but because you might be staying back a little bit more, cold-blooded could be the way to go. It'll keep you out of the scopes for anybody that's still running thermals, which isn't a lot right now. Overkill's a must, so you can grab both starting weapons, and then amped as always for the faster weapon swap. You potentially could run tracker if you wanted to maybe help, but I think amp's the way to go. And that's going to do it for the first loadout drop. So players 1 and 2 being your assault men, players 3 and 4 kind of staying back, with 3 as your utility guy. Now, for your second loadout, you should set up a second class that you're obviously going to go right into and pick. So for that player 1, you're going to pick your ghost class. And your ghost class should probably have one of your primary or secondary weapon either fully loaded or just the same as is already with those same lethals and tacticals, so you can get a replenishment and go ahead and grab that loadout out, take ghost, and then pick up that secondary weapon that you dropped. Same thing's going to go for player 2 here. Going to want your primary or secondary, whichever one you choose, potentially fully loaded. Grab ghost for your second for your red perk, and then go ahead and refill your lethal and tacticals as well. Now, for your utility player, this is where it changes up a bit. So depending on where you think the circle is going to go or how you want to continue to play the fight, your utility player should have a couple ghost classes. In that, you got a sniper class that can go along with your second long sniper here, your second or your fourth player, excuse me. And he'll have a ghost class that will allow him to play right next to his battle buddy in the back there. You'll pull out your favorite sniper with the backup RPG still, the Ghost red perk, and then refill your lethal and tacticals as well. Now, if you think that you're going to have a closer fight and you started as a utility player with an SMG, then go ahead and have a AR backup, and just vice versa. If you had an AR to start the game and you want an SMG backup, go ahead and grab that there, and your loadout will look very similar to your first two players here. So all three of you can run similar play styles with your long gunner in the back. Now lastly, for your fourth player, we'll be pulling out Ghost. Again, should either have the his short range or long range weapon as the primary, backup whatever you choose here, and then Ghost being the reason we're here at the second loadout, and then refilling your tactical and your lethals. And that right there, I think will give you the best balance for 4 players going in to play with each other, work off each other. You've got 2 teams of 2 at the start, working hand in hand, getting in buildings so it's not too clustered, and you get 2 guys on the outside prepping it for these 2 to get in there. I think that's one of the best ways to play the game. It's easy to communicate in buddy teams once you're going in, and comms don't become too crazy with 4 people on the mic trying to figure out who's going to do what. So I think going into a game, knowing who's going to run what before the loadout comes down really helps you guys get a better chance at getting a win. That's all I got for today's Tactical Tuesday. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think's the best loadout. And if you liked this type of content, also let me know. Please consider subscribing and liking the video, and we'll catch you guys next time. We'll see you in the Warzone. 6 out.